चैतन्येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। Hare Krishna, dear devotees, welcome to our daily morning reading of Srīmad Bhāgavatam. I seek blessings and permission from Srila Prabhupada, the entire Guru Parampara and my Guru Maharaj, so I can glorify Bhagavatam sincerely, and I seek blessings from all of you. Vaishnavas, Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyev cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. So we are reading from Canto 1, The Creation, chapter 15, titled The Pāṇḍavas Retire Timely. And so we will continue our reading from verse 36 today. Let's go to verse 36. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudiraye. नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवति उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। यदा मुकुन्दो भगवानिमां महीं जहो स्वतन्वा श्रवणीय सत्कथः तदा हरेवा प्रतिबुद्धचेतसा अभद्रहेतो कलिरन्ववर्तत। Word to word. Yada, when Mukundaha, Lord Krishna, Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead, Imam, this, Mahim, earth, Jahau, left. So Yada Mukundo Bhagavan Imam Mahi, Jahau, the first few words of the verse, they mean when Bhagavan Mukunda, Lord Krishna, left this earth. Then the word is Tanva, with his self-same body. Tan means body. So, how did Krishna live? With his self-same body, Swatanva. And Shravani Satkatha, hearing about him is worthwhile. Tada, at that time, Aha Eva, from that very day. Aprati Buddha Chetasam, of those whose minds are not sufficiently developed. Abhadra Hetuhu, cause of all ill fortune. Kalihi Aranva Vartataha, Kali fully manifested. So we see in Sanskrit, this is the rule of Sandhi, that Visarga, the two dots, when they join, the Visarga changes to R, to Ra. And those who can read Devanagari, they can have a look. The last word of the verse is Kalir Vartata. So, but for word to word, Prabhupada always, he does the Sandhi Vichhed for us. So, the original word is Kalihi plus Aranva Vartata. So, that Visarga plus A becomes Ra. So, that's why Kalir Vartata. Now, let's read the translation. Translation by Krishna Kripamurti, His Loving Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. When the personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, left this earthly planet in his self-same form, from that very day, Kali, who had already partially appeared, became fully manifest to create inauspicious conditions for those who are endowed with a poor fund of knowledge. Would anyone like to read the purport, please?
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna.
One of you, please read, Mataji.
You can go ahead, Nilima.
Okay, thank you. Purport by Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. The influence of Kali can be enforced only upon those who are not fully developed in God consciousness. One can neutralize the effects of Kali by keeping oneself fully under the supreme care of the personality of Godhead. The age of Kali ensued just after the battle of Kurukshetra, but it could not exert its influence because of the presence of the Lord. The Lord, however, left this earthly planet in his own transcendental body, and as soon as he left, the symptoms of the Kali Yuga, as per envisioned by Maharaj Yudhishthira prior to Arjun's arrival from Dwarka, began to manifest, and Maharaj Yudhishthira rightly conjectured on the departure of the Lord from the earth. As we have already explained, the Lord left our sight just as when the sun sets, it is out of our sight. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you. So, the word here is Jaho, left. And the question here is, can Krishna live? Can he die? In Bhagavad Gita 2.20, Krishna says, Najayate mriteva kadachin nayam bhutva bhavitava na bhuya ajo nitya shashvatoyam purano nahanyate hanyamane sharire. That soul doesn't take birth, na jayate. Mriyateva, soul does not die. Kadachin, ever. So soul never takes birth or never dies. And nayam bhutva, in past. And bhavita means in future. Va na bhuya. Va means or in present. So the soul has not come into being, does not come into being, and will not come into being ever. And the soul is aja, unborn, nitya, eternal, shashvat, permanent, puran, oldest. And the most importantly, na hanyate hanyamane sharire. The body can be slain, but soul can never be slain. And we know we are spirit souls, and we are qualitatively the small fragmental parts of the Supreme Spirit Krishna. So even for us, the body does die, body does go through changes, the 6 changes, like a birth, body takes birth from mother's womb, then it remains for some time, grows, it produces some byproducts, Srila Prabhupada calls like children. Then body gradually deteriorates, dwindles, and at last body vanishes into the Panchmahara, nothing else. And so there are 2 kinds of souls, Anu Atma, and which is the minute particle soul, and Vibhu Atma, the super soul, from where all the particle souls come. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Chaitanya Charitamrita, it gives an analogy that just like sunshine is a part of sun, similarly, Anu Atma is a part of Vibhu Atma. There is a verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Jivera Swarupa hai Krishnera Nityadas, Krishnera Tatastha Shakti, Bheda Bhed Prakash. So, Jiva, the soul, the living entity, is an Krishnera Nityadas, eternal servant of Krishna, and also he is Tatastha Shakti, the marginal potency, the marginal energy of Krishna. So just like Tata means, on the beach. If we take example of a beach, there is water and there is sand. But the edge, the boundary between the sand and water, in Hindi we call it kinara, or the seashore. So another word for it is tat. So that point is sometimes covered by water and sometimes it is dry. And the one that remains on tata is tatastha, marginal. So the living entity who is tatastha Shakti, marginal potency, marginal Shakti of Krishna, If he never dies, how can Krishna die? Krishna is Aja, unborn. Arjuna says, Ajo Nityam Shashvatoyam Pura. So he cannot die. So our verse says that Jaho, Krishna left. But Krishna's living is different than our living. We leave this body and our next destination is another body. We will accept another body. And we have to leave and we have to come back by the force of nature. There is no, our will is not involved there in our coming and going. Krishna also comes, but he comes by his own will. We come by the force of nature and he comes by his own will. We are under the control of material nature, the laws of karma, but Krishna is not. In fact, material nature that we are under control of, that material nature is under the control of Krishna. So our living this world and Krishna living this planet is different. Krishna's disappearance from this world is compared to the sunset. So when sun sets, even it cannot be visible for us, but it still exists. Similarly, Krishna, even when he lives, he still remains present, but he is not, he is beyond the vision of us ordinary people. That's why the verse says, Shravaniya Swakatha, Shravaniya Satkatha, that hearing about him is worthwhile. By hearing about Krishna, we can become liberated. By hearing about him, we always remember him. Because as the verse says, as soon as Krishna lives, Kali enters. So when we, as long as we hear, we are in association of Krishna, even in the form of hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, then Kali cannot enter within our consciousness. When our Guru Maharaj left this planet, he left a recorded video message for all of us. That video was played at the memorial, his memorial service at ISKCON Vrindavan. And it was titled The Last Message. And I had heard that video again and again, and I wrote down each word Guru Maharaj said. So in that video, Guru Maharaj started his last message, his concluding words that he wanted to give us, the disciples and all the Vaishnavas, his last words for us. They are so related to this purport. So in our purport, Srila Prabhupada says that one can neutralize the effects of Kali by keeping oneself fully under the supreme care of personality of Godhead. The age of Kali ensued just after the Battle of Kurukshetra, but it could not exert its influence because of the presence of the Lord. So, Vinod Prabhu, I have shared a couple of photos with you just now. So let's read from that last message by our Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Kadam Kanan Swami. Vinod Prabhu, if you can share the first page, it's in your WhatsApp message.
Yeah, just a minute, Mataji, I'll do that.
Take your time, Prabhu. It's okay. When Prabhuji shares it, if someone wants to read, that will be great, please.
Sorry, Mataji, what did you say?
When you share, if someone wants to read from it, yeah.
WhatsApp was not there on my laptop, so I just need to do that. Is it possible to share it on Zoom, Mataji?
For me, can I share? Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I have that option. Okay, yeah, I have it. Krishna, can everyone see the screen?
Yes.
Yeah. Does anyone want to start reading from once Maharaj Parikshit?
I can do that, Mataji.
Yes, please. Go ahead.
Once Maharaj Parikshit was roaming his kingdom and came across a terrible scene where a cow had been attacked by some low-class dark men dressed like a king, who with a stick hit the legs of a bull. Maharaj Parikshit, being a valiant king, immediately took action and was ready to fight that man in the robe dress, none other than Kali personified. Kali, instead of fighting, immediately fell at the feet of the king like a subordinate not ready for to fight. Maharaj Parikshit took full action and said, Kali, you could not stay in this kingdom. Kali said, what will I do? I took shelter. I am Praja. I exist by taking birth. I need to exist somewhere. Where can I exist? Maharaj Parikshit thought and said, you can stay in 4 places. There where there is gambling, meat eating, illicit sex, and intoxication. There was no such a place. Kali couldn't find such a place, so he came back and said, where will I stay? Then Maharaj Parikshit said, okay, you can stay where gold is stored. A big sigh and some silence. From the 16th chapter of Srīmad Bhāgavatam, Srila Prabhupada praised the 4 regulative principles which he formally introduced for his followers. As Srila Prabhupada was preaching to the modern world, he spelled it out what to follow, what to follow to become free from the influence of the age of Kali. Prabhupada Mahaprabhu gave the Yuga Dharma, the chanting of the holy name, and not only that, Dushkaran, Sukaran, I lost your share. Maharaj gave Yuga Dharma, the chanting of the holy name, and not only that, Dushkaran, Sukaran, Bhavet, Adi Chaitanya Charitamrita, Lila 14.1. He also added his mercy by not making it difficult, easy. And so the fundamental Krishna consciousness for the modern world took shape. 16 rounds minimum and 4 regulative principles, another big side. You all are the fortunate people because you all came in touch with transcendental knowledge and with Vaishnavas. And as a result, you took up this process of sadhana bhakti, chanting Hare Krishna and following 4 regulative principles. Who in this world is?
Thank you so much. So, such a glorious message by Maharaj. You know, he says that there are 4 pillars of dharma, 4 pillars upon which the human society rests. The 4 pillars are mercy, truthfulness, austerity, and cleanliness. So dharma stands on these 4 legs. You know, when these 4 legs are broken, what happens is adharma prevails. There are for adharma, also there are 4 pillars of sin. So Kali thrives in places where these 4 sinful activities are present: the meat eating, intoxication, gambling, and illicit sex. And Srila Prabhupada has given us a way to remain untouched by the effects of Kali. Just like umbrella protects us from rain. When we want to take initiation, we are required to take 4 vows and follow the 4 regulative principles. So first one is no meat eating. So no eating meat, eggs or fish, When we kill the animals to satisfy our hunger or our taste, it destroys the quality of mercy within us. One Srila Prabhupada said that when you consume a dead animal, you are turning your body into a graveyard. So a person who eats meat, they participate in a conspiracy of violence against the helpless animals. And in this way, they stop their spiritual, any chances of their spiritual advancement. Then gambling, so the dharma, the pillar of dharma, which is truthfulness, is destroyed by gambling. And intoxicants, the use of intoxicants is it destroys the principle of austerity. Because the reason people take to these intoxicants like drugs, alcohol, cigarette, caffeine, or any other intoxicants, the reason is that they want to avoid that suffering in the material world. They don't want to face that austerity. So these intoxicants cloud the mind and they overstimulate our senses. And they make it impossible to follow the principles of Bhakti Yoga. And the fourth principle is no illicit sex, because, and it means no sex outside of marriage or any sex for any purpose other than recreation. So it destroys the principle of cleanliness, shaucham. Bhakti Charu Maharaj says that today's society has become a demoniac society. Because dharma is gone. The four legs of dharma, they are broken. But today, Kali Yuga has only just started, and this has become a norm. When devotees travel, sometimes it is like a challenge to find vegetarian food because it has become a norm, meditating. We have all experienced sometimes at work, as soon as you tell your co-workers that you are vegetarian, everyone sitting at the table at once, they look at you with a question in their eye, like, why? As if it is like out of norm. So meat eating, intoxication, illicit sex, gambling, they have become the standard, the normal. And if we look at today's world, the most profitable businesses, they are gambling, the casinos, restaurants, meat eating, liquor shops, coffee shops, tea stalls, intoxication, and not just that, cigarettes, drugs, heroin, cocaine. So these are like huge industries and whatnot. So dharma says don't do these things. We know when you are staying away from these activities, you are not repressing yourself, but you are elevating yourself to a higher platform. By following these principles, a devotee blocks Kali from entering their life. And if we don't stay away from these activities, then adharma prevails in us. Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavad pranitam. It says in Bhāgavatam that the principles that are enacted by Bhagavan, they are dharma. So when we completely destroy dharma, Krishna has to come. He says, dharma sansthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. And when Krishna lives, adharma rises. So the age of Kali officially began after the battle of Kurukshetra. But its influence was mild, it was suppressed until Krishna was present. When Krishna left this planet, the symptoms of Kali began very prominent. They began to manifest them fully. So in the beginning of this chapter, we saw that Maharaj Yudhishthira, he straight away recognized the inauspicious signs of Kali Yuga, and he correctly assumed that Krishna had departed. In 12th Canto, there is a chapter, third chapter, it's titled Bhumi Gita, where earth takes note of the foolishness of Kali Yuga people. So in that chapter, all the faults of Kali Yuga, a lot of faults are described. So there Shukdev Goswami says that in Kali Yuga, people will be greedy, merciless, and they will be obsessed with material desires. They will develop hatred for each other. For no significant reason, there will be fight among people. Men will no longer protect their elderly parents, their children or their wives, and the mind will be always agitated. In fact, the people of Kali Yuga will gradually come, they will be always stressed, and gradually they will start looking like ghostly, haunted creatures. So this is all written in Bhagavatam. So it even defines Kali Yuga. It says that when there is a predominance of sleepiness, violence, cheating, lying, fear, poverty, that age is Kali. So that age is Kali, the age of ignorance. So but there is only one good thing in Kali Yuga. There is a shloka in Bhagavatam as well that says, Kaler doshanidhe rajan asti eko mahan guna kirtana deva krishnasya mukta sangha param vraje. That although Kali Yuga is an ocean of faults, Kaler doshanidhe, but there is one good quality in this age, and that is simply by kirtana deva krishnasya, simply by chanting the names of Krishna, one can attain mukta sangha, one can attain liberation, and one can transcend material contamination. So the holy name is like a protective shield from Kali Yuga's effects. And those who sincerely chant Hare Krishna, they are not affected by the dark influence of Kali. So yes, the age of Kali is the most condemned age. But in this age of quarrel and hypocrisy, there is only one means of deliverance, which is chanting of the holy name of the Lord. There is a shloka from Brihad Naradiya Puran. It says, Harer Nam eva kevalam, kalau nasti eva gatir anyatha. There is no other way, no other way, no other way. And in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that Kali Kale Nama Rupe Krishna Avatar Nam Haite Haya Sarva Jagat Nistar. That in this age of Kali, the holy name of the Lord is Krishna Avatar, incarnation of the Lord. And simply by the chanting of his names, one can associate with the Lord directly. And one who does that, for them, there is no effect. There is deliverance. So, does anyone have any question on that verse 36? If not, we can go to verse 37. Okay, let's go to verse 37. Yudhishthirastat parisarpanam buddha pure cha rashtre cha grihe tathatmani vibhavya lobhandrutajih mahinsana adharma chakram gamanaya paryadhat. Word to word. Yudhishthiraha, Maharaj Yudhishthir. Tat, that. Parisarpanam, expansion. Buddha, thoroughly experienced. Pure, in the capital. Cha, also. Rashtre, in the state. Cha, and. Grihe, at home. Tatha, as also. Atmani, in person. Vibhavya, observing. Lobha, avarice, also means greed. Anrita, untruth. Jihma, diplomacy. Himsana adi, violence, envy, etc. Adharma, irreligion. Chakram, a vicious circle. Gamanaya, for departure. Paryadhat dressed himself accordingly. Translation by Krishna Rupa Murti, His Loving Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Maharaj Yudhishthir was intelligent enough to understand the influence of the age of Kali, characterized by increasing avarice, falsehood, cheating, and violence throughout the capital, state, home, and among individuals. So he wisely prepared himself to leave home and he dressed accordingly. Would anyone like to read the purport, please?
I can read, Mataji.
Yes, please, Mataji.
Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The present age is influenced by the specific qualities of Kali. Since the days of the battle of Kurukshetra, about 5,000 years ago, the influence of the age of Kali began manifesting, and from authentic scriptures it is learned that the age of Kali is still to run on for 427,000 years. The symptoms of the Kali Yuga, as mentioned above, namely avarice, falsehood, diplomacy, cheating, nepotism, violence, and all such things, are already in vogue, and no one can imagine what is going to happen gradually with further increase of the influence of Kali till the day of annihilation. We have already come to know that the influence of the age of Kali is meant for godless, so-called civilized man. Those who are under the protection of the Lord have nothing to fear from this horrible age. Maharaj Yudhishthir was a great devotee of the Lord, and there was no necessity of his being afraid of the age of Kali, but he preferred to retire from active household life and prepare himself to go back home, back to Godhead. The Pandavas are eternal companions of the Lord, and therefore they are more interested in the company of the Lord than anything else. Besides that, being an idle king, Maharaj Yudhishthir wanted to retire just to set an example for others. As soon as there is some young fellow to look after the household affairs, one should at once retire from family life to uplift oneself to spiritual realization. One should not rot in the dark well of household life till one is dragged out by the will of Yamraj. Modern politicians should take lessons from Maharaj Yudhishthir about voluntary retirement from active life and should make room for the younger generation. Also, retired old gentlemen should take lessons from him and leave home for spiritual realization before forcefully dragged away to meet death. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Such a nice purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada says one should not rot in the dark well. Prahlad Maharaj calls it Gruhamanda Kopa, the dark well of Grihastha life. In this verse, Maharaj Yudhishthir, he was, he was a great devotee of Krishna, even though he was a king, but he was a Rajarshi. He was a devotee king. So he was very well learned man in scriptures. He had Shastra Chakshu. And with those Shastra Chakshu, he was able to spot the signs of Kali. He was very well versed in Vedic wisdom, including the Dharma Shastra. There is a scripture that describes the righteousness. So he was an expert in Dharma Shastra and even other scriptures on other wisdom from his gurus like politics and spiritual knowledge. And we see in Mahabharata there is a Yaksha, there is a one Parva, and in there is an episode, Yaksha Prashna, where we see Yudhishthir Maharaj's his wisdom in the scriptures. So the Yaksha asks him 125 questions on various topics like dharma, ethics, devotion, philosophy. And Yudhishthir Maharaj answers all of those questions with his wisdom from the scriptures. And he proves that, he is an expert in Shastra as well as practical dharma. So he was a saintly king, a Rajarshi. So not only just a ruler, but he had the deep knowledge about his own his own spiritual and moral duties and the moral duties of his praja as well. And he was trained by great gurus. He had great gurus, sages, and elders like Kripacharya and Dronacharya. They taught him the Vedic knowledge and military science. And one of his gurus was Vyasadev, who guided him spiritually. And his Pitama, Bhishma, he taught him about the administration and dharma. Throughout the life he taught, and even on the bed of arrows he instructs, when we saw that when Bhishma does instruct Yudhishthir Maharaj on dharma, but he instructs him, but he says that Yudhishthir Maharaj already knows most of it, and what I'm doing is just clarifying his doubts. So Bhishma Dev, he says that Yudhishthir's understanding about how to govern and his morality, his understanding is so deep. It's deeper than many kings before him. And Yudhishthir's kingdom, it was endorsed by Krishna. In the 9th chapter of this first canto, in the last verse, there was a word that Vasudevan Modita, that it was Yudhishthir Maharaj's Anumodan, the endorsement of Krishna. So Yudhishthir Maharaj, he executed the royal power strictly according to dharma, the codes of royal principles, which were approved by his elders, his uncle, and they were confirmed, Anumodan, by Krishna. So, in the whole battle of Kurukshetra, it was fought for Yudhishthir Maharaj to be enthroned. So Krishna wanted that. So, because Duryodhana is not the fit person to be king. So Yudhishthir was the ideal monarch. And in Srila Prabhupada's opinion, monarchy, if it is under the trained king, like Yudhishthir Maharaj, then by far monarchy is the most superior form of government. But today we have democracy, the republic system, government of people, by the people, for the people. So, but the most unfortunate thing is that in this age of Kali, the people, the mass of people, they are all, Shastras say, they are all born Shudras. So in other words, they are all ill-trained in Shastra, they are low-born, they are unfortunate, and they have bad association. So such people, they can't even conduct their own life properly. They themselves don't know the value of human life and the rarity of human life. So they don't know what is the highest perfection, what is the aim of human life. So if such people cast the votes, they actually have no value. Such votes have no value. And the person they elect, person elected by such irresponsible voters, they cannot select a responsible ruler like Yudhishthir Maharaj. So Srila Prabhupada says that any rascal, if he gets votes somehow or other, then in today's age, they acquire the exalted post as a ruler. But those who choose him, they have no consideration who is fit to occupy that throne. So if the government is by the people, yes, you select your representative, but if you are a fool, Srila Prabhupada says, then you will also select another fool. There is a verse in second canto, it says that those who praise the people who are not devotees, those who select such people, they are like dogs, hogs, camels, and asses. So ideally, the duty of a king is not any less than a father or a spiritual master. The king is supposed to ensure the welfare of the citizens from all angles, social, political, economic, and their spiritual upliftment, which is most important. The king should himself know that the human life is meant for liberating. So our verse basically says that Yudhishthira Maharaj saw the signs of Kali. So he concludes that things have deteriorated. So he decides to retire. The verse says, Pure Rashtre cha grihe tathatmani. Now, one may think that if he is such a good king, then when he sees the sign of deterioration of people, when he says that my people are turning greedy, liars, cheaters, violent men, if he is such a righteous king, then why does he choose to retire? It is the time to fix them. He should stay and fix. So, Srila Prabhupada justifies his retirement that he has his personal duty as well. Life is in Vedic civilization, life is divided into 4 ashrams: Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanprastha, and Sannyasa. So, yes, Yudhishthir has a duty towards his praja, his subjects. But there is, he also has another dharma. For his soul. So now that there is another qualified king, Parikshit Maharaj, so Yudhishthir's duty as a king is it can now be taken care of. So then his duty as a soul, completely engage himself to the service of Lord. So instead of clinging to the throne like Dhritarashtra, who had to be instigated by Vidur to leave home, Yudhishthir himself understands his duty, that he understands that he must retire from Grihastha life and enter Vanprastha now. And Srila Prabhupada he says that strictly that as soon as one is 50 years old, he must retire from Grihastha life. And at that time, there should be no excuses like, oh, I've got this duty, I've got that duty, that duty. No, life should be arranged in a way. Srila Prabhupada says that within this age, whatever duty you could perform, that's all right. We see in Srila Prabhupada's life, his own pharma business, it was not doing very great when he decided to retire. So Srila Prabhupada didn't say that, oh, let me stay and fix it. No, he completely gave up business to serve Krishna's mission. And in Bhagavad Gita, there is a shloka, 3.21. It says, Yadyat acharati shreshthas tattad evetaro janaha sayat pramanam kurute lokas tad anuvartate. That however a respectable leader acts, Yadyat acharati shreshthas tattad evetaro jana. The common people, they follow that the common people follow. And whatever standards he sets by his exemplary act, they all follow in his footsteps. People in general, they need a leader who can teach them by practical behavior. So as devotees in many families, we see that one person is more attracted to the philosophy, so they lead and the family follows. And also as devotees, it is our duty to see how we conduct ourselves. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Amara Agyaya Guru Hana Tara Desh. It is my order that you become a guru and preach Krishna consciousness to the whole world. But at the same time, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also says that a teacher should behave properly. Before he begins teaching, he should behave properly himself. And one who teaches that way is called Acharya. Whatever a teacher speaks, they should try their best to put it in practice, in the acharan. And then it is yad yad acharati shreshthas. So that's what Yudhishthira Maharaj does in this verse. So his living home is justified. And Srila Prabhupada truly says in the purport, let's read it again. Prabhupada says that besides that, being an ideal king, Maharaj Yudhishthir wanted to retire just to set an example for others. So, Prabhupada says that one should not rot in the dark well, the andhakupam of grihastha life. With that, we can conclude today. If anyone has any questions or points they want to share, something I missed, or any correction or addition, please feel free to share.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
I just have a question about the 10,000 years, the golden age of Kali. I'm just wondering if you can enlighten us, please, because I don't know much about it.
You mean the symptoms, Prabhuji?
No, just about this window within Kali Yuga before it deteriorates, like what it's about.
Sorry, Prabhuji, your question is not very clear for me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know if anyone knows about the
I can
10,000.
tell Mataji what Paul Prabhu is asking is what is that significance of this 10,000 years within the age of Kali, which is 427,000 years, right? So what is the significance of this 10,000 years? This
First
10,000?
10,000 years. Yes, Prabhuji, I think in this age, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has incarnated as this golden avatar. So he has given us the chanting of this holy name. We are the first lot, and we should take advantage of this Sankirtan movement and get out of here as soon as we can. Because as we will see further in Bhagavatam, that deterioration, it is going to be very ghastly,
Thank you for the explanation, Mataji, and thank you, Prabhuji, for the restructuring of the question.
And Paul Prabhu, probably I can add to that. Probably Mataji, correct me if I'm wrong here. It is said that the first 10,000 years is where people will have little bit of devotional service. After 10,000 years, it fully deteriorates and people will become more of influenced by Kali than getting into devotional service. So this influence will keep going down after 10,000 years fully wiped out. So that's the reason this is kind of a golden age where we have a chance of getting into devotional service and going out of this world.
Thank you, Prabhuji. That makes sense.
All right. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam Mahapuran ki jai, Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Hare Krishna. Have a blissful Krishna conscious day, everyone.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Very nice. Thank you.